She's gonna ding or not?
Ding-a-ling.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Pura Vida. We had a storm that wasn't last night, and I don't know how things are on the other coast, but it's a beautiful morning here at Valley Rica in beautiful Costa Rica for our this week's Dharma talk. We're going to begin the session with a meditation led by Lisa and followed by a talk from Mark. And I just wanted to say, for those of you who are new, Mark has the extremely honored position of being the firekeeper for 3 tribes, Indian tribes in Canada. So he is very, very much a person to listen to with both mind and heart. And Lisa as well. And me too, and all of you. Okay, so here we go.
Thank you,
Lisa, take it away.
We're going to do something a little bit different today. And first, I just want to lead off with an article that I read from a Buddhist lady. But she was in Costa Rica, of all places, and on a river tour. And the guide pulls up along the riverbank and says to everyone, okay, I recommend that you sit still, get quiet, and then look at that beautiful tree there, and let me know when you see the iguana. And so the lady's like, okay, I'm looking, and she says, there's obviously no iguana in the tree, but it's a beautiful tree, so I'll sit and I'll look, and I'll look. And then all of a sudden, the iguana, she saw it. She's like, I see it. And then people are like, oh, I see it, I see it, I see it. And she said in her mind, like, I could have sworn that there was nothing there. I looked and looked, and there was nothing there. And when I saw the iguana, I knew it had been there all along. It was always there. I just couldn't see it. And just like something, you lose your keys there right in front of your nose. And she was equating this to the Buddhist doorways to joy, or doorways to Dharma. And that these moments, it's there all along. Like happiness, joy, bliss is there, but we're just not seeing it. And anything can be a trigger for that. So just like the iguana, I'm sure you've all probably had the iguana experience.
Sloths. It's so hard to see sloth.
Yeah.
And you can look and look and look, and he's not there. And then all of a sudden, you do see them, but they swim in and out of it.
So we're looking and looking for whatever enlightenment, and it's there all along. You just haven't quite seen it yet. And the key is that coming into stillness and quiet, so that you can let it unveil. So that's that. Now, a little bit different. We're going to do a laughter practice today, and a laughter exercise.
Oh, good.
To inspire some joy. So it seems a little strange, but just go with me.
Is it laughter yoga? Because I've done laughter yoga before.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Well, and in Buddhism, we have Hotai.
What's that?
Joy.
Oh, joy.
The smiling Buddha.
Yeah.
The laughing Buddha.
Yeah.
Who's always like this.
So we're going to start with just a smile. I think you've all already got the smile on your face. And actually, you know what? Let's check in first to see how we are. So just close your eyes and get an assessment of where you're at right now. How your body feels, how your emotions feel, how your mind is. Don't need to spend too long on that. We kind of get where we're starting. So now open your eyes. A little smile on your face. And just inhale our arms up to the sky. And exhale, lower them down. Keeping that smile. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Now we're going to clap. Smiling as you like. We'll do it a bit of rhythm. 1, 2, 3. And move your claps around. And up and down. And all around. It'll be fun. All right. And Now we're gonna take an inhale and we're gonna exhale as we lean forward. And as we're getting towards the end of the exhale, we're gonna do like a deep guttural laugh till the air is all gone. And then as you inhale, you come up and let it be that, that high pitched, my aunt used to laugh like really high pitched ha on the inhale, ha ha ha. So you're gonna laugh and just let it go like crazy.
I started early. Sorry.
So just follow along and we'll just let the laughter roll. So inhale. Exhale. I just keep laughing.
There you go.
I know, how do you feel? Crazy.
Yeah.
A little crazy, but happy.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
And that's where I leave you to let Mark take over, right? I've done my job.
Okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
Just laugh and
Thank
giggle.
you, Lisa. Okay. So feel your body. Just take a few moments and feel like all those chemicals that are moving around in your body. Notice how your breath is lighter and more vibrant. Notice how there's still that smile on your face. Just noticing all of that and breathing in. Just feeling yourself in this space. The laughter that's still in this room, you can feel it, sense it. Now, while you're doing that, I'm going to ask you something, and I want you to consider it while you're feeling this joy, this laughter, this sensation, this vibrancy. I'd like you to remember a time when you told a great big lie. Notice how that feels.
No, I don't want to.
No. It changes things, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Here we are moving towards this excitement, this joy, this vibrancy and everything else. And when I took you somewhere else, and I'm going to ask you to let go of that thought now, come back to the joy of the room. But when you did that one thing, you remembered something where you did something consciously, you made a choice to tell an untruth, it changed everything inside of you. Now imagine, and this is going to be today's talk, imagine trying to do both at the same time, feeling that joy, that vibrancy, that uplifted, that celebration of life, and the contracted feeling of knowing what that lie did to you. That's what we're going to talk about. So, this is not, you don't have to beat yourself up. You've been probably doing it for years, so let it go. So, this leads me to a couple of questions. And the first question is, if we know what a lie is, and this is open, I'm opening this to the room, what is truth? And if you think you've got an idea of what truth is, shout it out. Jeff could do that if he wanted.
Not today.
I don't think Jeff's gonna
I am
participate.
listening. We
I
have Jeff
think
with
you
us
can
today.
tell
Jeff.
the truth a lot of it by the consequences.
True, but
That's one of an element. of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm
Anybody?
most
all very
comfortable.
individualized.
We'll get to there. Very, very interesting.
I'm most comfortable with observational truths because everybody's eyes are the same. So if you see something, you can say that's the truth.
Nice segue.
It's safer. I've learned my lesson of,
But don't we all
recently.
see differently, though?
Nice segue.
I knew that.
Is that a fact?
Sorry?
I would add all senses. That
All
it's
senses.
also, the way that you hear something and the other person heard it too, and
Nice
even the
segue.
senses that we recognize, like the sense of someone's intention for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
sorry.
really good.
I asked if observational truths are facts and not truth.
He's
The
differentiating
difference
truth.
between
Nice
fact
segue.
and there are facts between, the difference between facts and truth.
Yeah.
But remember, the Buddha said that he came because he wanted to find out the true nature of reality, i.e., the truth of what it is and what we are in it.
Agreed.
And it's a very big assignment.
Huge.
But yet we all seem to know the truth almost instinctively.
Which is what we did in the very beginning, didn't we? We
Mhm.
moved into a state of joy, of laughter, of life fulfilling, of life giving. Lisa gave that to us. We brought it into the room. Everybody laughed, and then I derailed it and brought in something that felt less life fulfilling, less life giving. And so we had an opportunity to have a visceral experience. This is what it feels like when we're in, and this is what it feels like when we do something different. So one of the phrases that I've always liked about truth, and I'm going to read it because I have 3 ways of saying it, and I want to say it this way today. Truth to me is absolutely, utterly reliable and enduring. It's absolutely enduring. We okay with that?
Yeah.
Great. Then I'd like to add one more thing to it. How does the Dharma teaching of impermanence meet with truth?
Mhm.
It kind of messes things up a little, doesn't it? It kind of says, well, on one hand, I'm saying, I'm going to connect with this truth and it's eternal. I can put all the chips in the center for this one particular truth. But then the Dharma says, wait a minute, everything changes anyway. So what's the point? And the reason I like this particular one is because of the word enduring.
Mhm.
You see, the one thing about truth is truth allows itself to be observed. It allows itself to be questioned. It allows itself for misunderstanding. And it maintains a center point by which everybody can reference and say, this we agree feels truthful. If by chance at some point in history we look at the universe or at least our solar system and say, Earth is the center of the universe. And everybody looks up and goes, yeah, that makes sense to me. And then we find out 300-400 years later, well, actually, we're not even close. There's so much more that needs to be. But truth still allows for that change. Lying, not so much. Lying is a constant need to defend and maintain a particular point of view. And the lie builds on itself. And we're going to come back to that in a few moments. So I'm going to ask my lovely assistant right now to pick up the towel in a moment. But you can go there.
Right now in a moment.
Be here now.
Yeah. What I'm going to ask is she's going to lift up the towel and the surprise is going to be revealed.
Oh,
And what I'm going to ask you to do is not say anything. Just notice what's in there. And then I'm going to ask some questions about the room and let's see what we can notice from it. Okay? Okay.
somebody's got to
Run, you ready,
Vanna
Lisa?
White.
Vanna?
Come on, Van.
We're all looking at the argument, which I already showed you. Exactly. That's why I showed it to
But I
you.
didn't see it.
Okay, my first question to you is this. I'm saying that the truth is that is a cup. Is everybody in agreement?
Yes.
Everybody's in agreement?
Does it have a bottom? I don't know. I can't see the bottom.
We don't know. We don't know. But I'm saying it's a cup.
Condition is a cup. It's
Yeah.
recognizable
Okay.
manifestation.
From your perspective, from the perspective that you see that cup, do you feel that everybody in the room has your same perspective of that cup?
No.
No. Do you feel that your version or vision of that cup is true?
No.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know-
Oh, you mean to myself?
To yourself, yes. Yeah. So
it's
if
true for
yours-
everybody.
so we're in agreement that it's a cup. That is the truth. But we're also in agreement that 24 people in here are seeing a different version of that truth. Natalie looks at the cup and she sees something. I tell Natalie from my version, I see a handle and I see some painting and there's this green cup and a spoon going into a sugar dish. And it says tea party on the top. Natalie's sitting opposite of me. She says, I don't see those things at all. What do you see?
Actually, I got tea party over here.
Oh, so okay. And you have a handle?
No handle.
I have a handle.
It's not the same.
Clearly, it's a cupcake.
It's a cupcake. Yeah,
It's
it's
a
a cup party. So the point here is everybody agrees that the truth is unanimous. We all agree that this is a cup, but we all have
Where
a
you
different
look at it.
perspective of it. So whose perspective is right?
Truth lies in the intention more than in the
Mhm.
vision.
Thank you for the segue.
Okay.
Thank you. That's exactly where we're going with this. The truth is, what is the intention? I suggested in the very beginning that when we embrace truth, that truth is open for conversation. It's open for exploration. It's open to misunderstanding and miscommunication. It's open to revealing itself to the best of its ability. In so doing, we grow exponentially in that truth. We grow. Each one of us grows. I now know that Natalie has teacup or tea party, and I have tea party, so we see something very similar. But I still, unless Natalie gives me the full version or Sharon gives me the full version of her vision, I don't know that cup in 360 degrees. But in talking about it, I grow exponentially, and hopefully I share exponentially from my vision.
Well, what you really got to avoid is the person over here who says there isn't any teacup, there isn't any handle. Then you say, yes, there is. Now you got to get into
Well, again,
perception.
I would suggest that the truth
Perception.
would allow that
Yeah.
perception.
It would.
Because perhaps this person is somebody who sees something far more than I'm able of seeing, and I'm projecting my thoughts into the cup, because
Exactly.
this truth that I'm going to be sharing is not only what I see and not only what I hear, but all of the experiences in my life. Every experience that I've ever had, every time I've heard the word cup, my relationship with the word cup, every cup that I've ever seen, every time I've seen the word tea, every time I've seen the word party, every time I've seen the word tea party, all of that is my personal experience and relationship to this cup. And in turn, you will all be doing the same thing. So when we talk about this, I'm not just talking about what I see and feel, but I'm leaving myself open to a vast experience. You know, if somebody doesn't know what tea party is,
Bobby.
Bobby.
No, it's Bobby with an F.
Bobby, got
it. You know.
Okay. So Bobby might say to me,
It works.
he might say to me, I have no idea what tea party means. And so I would express my experience of tea party to him. And then he grows exponentially and he gets to know me better. Okay? We're all kind of in agreement with that?
American history better.
I'm sorry?
Or he gets
Right.
to know American history better.
Yeah.
Right.
About American
Right,
history,
because is
what he
it
said.
the little girl tea party or
Then we
is
just
it
roll
the
about American
get
history.
out of here tea party?
Or the
Boston
Japanese
tea
tea
party.
ceremony.
The Boston tea
So
party.
Right.
if Sharon tells me there's a cupcake on there, I can't see a cupcake, but then I get to know the cup a little better.
Yeah, that's what I was
Listening to
gonna
her.
say too, is that you learn more about the truth by listening to someone else's perspective of the same thing. 'Cause I only have my little percentage of truth from here, but with Lisa's help, I get 50% more
Or
information.
even just 33%, you know, but still you're learning more.
Right.
And when you bring everybody into the room, we now get this incredible observation of the cup. We now feel like I know the cup on many different levels and layers and the experiences that everybody's had, depending on how much conversation I have about it.
And my cup's prettier than yours.
You're right, Ruthie. You're always right.
So-
Oh, dear.
So this is something really simple. It's a cup and we're all in agreement. But what if it's an event? What if somebody came running into this room, did something, turned around and ran back out? And we all sat there stunned, shocked by it or amused to some level. And then we thought, and someone walked into the room and said, what just happened? Would we tell the same story? Or would everything from our past come into our storytelling? Would somebody talk about the color of the shoes or the way the hair was styled or what the words were or what the actions were? What would be the things that we would share about that particular thing? And would we assume, in fairness, that everybody here was telling the truth?
Mhm.
Interesting.
Now, let's take that one step further. One of us goes outside, Ohochal, Uvita, wherever, and says, I was just at this thing and something occurred. And they tell their version of it. Another person in this room goes to another place and they tell their version of it. Now, these two people that have these two versions, neither of which were actually here, have a conversation. Amplify that, and at some point somebody's going to say, that can't be real. That's not true. That's not what happened. I know that person. That person doesn't tell the truth. I know that. And all of a sudden, there's a lot of conjecture that is wrapped around something. It was just personal experience and personal observation about something that occurred. So my question now is, if we can appreciate and understand truth, what is a lie? I just finished saying that it was an indestructible thing, or sorry, what is the truth? Let me back up. What is truth? It's undeniable, and it's timeless for a period of time anyway, I guess, until it shifts or change. But what is really a lie at this point?
The deliberate distortion.
Thank you for the segue.
What she said.
She said it's about the intention, which
It's
you brought
about
up
the
earlier.
intention. It's
If
also
you-
deliberate
if you have to
distortion.
have the intention, you know that didn't happen, but I'm gonna say this, then it's a lie. Sometimes you can missee or everybody makes mistakes.
Manipulate.
Yes,
Yeah.
manipulate or
Yeah, that's what I meant by deliberate distortion.
Hmm.
You develop an alternative fact to disturb the perception of the other person.
Usually, it's something that is done for one of four things, and I'm certainly open for more versions of it. Please share them if you have them. But I'm gonna say one is Tigger bouncing through a field. One is I don't want to hurt somebody. I don't want to say something that's going to be unkind to a friend. Children learn this right from the very beginning. It's very hard for a child to put another child in a difficult, like very young children, in a difficult situation. They'd rather lie than hurt their feelings. The other reason is perhaps, I don't know, I'm in the middle of a lie. I experienced this in India, a story for another time, but I was with somebody who was caught in the most profound lie and whose life was in jeopardy because he was in the military. I was training the Indian military. And his story was absolutely correct. But when you looked at the bigger picture, the whole reason that some 500 people died was born in a lie and perpetuated. And everybody involved in the story believed what they were doing was true.
But was it an intentional lie?
Yes,
There was a hidden agenda.
There was a hidden agenda
There,
that
was
started
my
it.
point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then the point becomes, if the lie is about intention, so we had protecting, we had manipulating, what are some of the other ones? Anybody?
Intentional.
Intentional, yeah, but what would be a reason for the intention?
For your own.
Avoid punishment.
I
To
see
avoid
lots of
punishment.
People are scared.
What's that?
People are scared sometimes. It's self-preservation, they think.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
Or reputation preservation.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they
absolutely.
lie instead of saying, I screwed up.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
So I'm going to suggest that a lie, from self-preservation and the intention and fear of punishment, if you're against a force that is formidable, and you know that telling the truth is going to be painful, not that you are trying to manipulate or do anything different, it's just from a self-preservation. I'm going to tell a lie so that I don't get hurt. If I tell you the truth and you don't want to hear the truth, you're going to punish me badly. So I'm just going to tell you whatever you want to hear, and you can fill your boots with that. There's that story. But there's also the other one where we tell the lie because we don't want punishment. Yes, I did chop down that cherry tree, or no, I did not chop down that cherry tree, or whatever. We're protecting ourselves from something. But the thing is we know, and most policing and militaries know that the one thing that will happen is the truth will always come out. The truth always, and all you have to do is wait long enough for the truth to present itself. Those that are caught in a lie will try to maintain that particular lie and tell other lies to support
And
it.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Right,
And it draws more and more venom into it.
exactly. And it's not sustainable. So coming back to what I was saying before, you had this incredible feeling, this joy, this laughter, and everything was feeling wonderful, and you felt great about it. And then I put something in that said, hey, here's something to consider. What if you did something and that dropped your energy? And then I said, now live both at the same time. Try to feel both in your body at the same time and maintain that. That is not a restful place. It is not an inspiring place. It is exhausting, and there's no joy involved.
What about a lie to protect the people I love?
What about it?
It's probably giving you more gratification, right? At least you think that.
At least you think that. But I'm going to suggest, Bobby, that at that same point, you're doing something to protect the people that you love, but you're living both the truth and the lie. And it takes a lot of energy to maintain that lie.
Yeah.
And it's actually exhausting.
But that's where you have a good intention.
Yeah.
And that's why everything in Buddhism is to refrain from and not an absolute. That's why it's non-dogmatic, because intentions and circumstances change the relativity of things. Is what the whole thing is about, actually. Why the lie?
Why the lie? So if I'm going to protect my family or somebody I love, why am I doing it?
Fear of losing them, I guess.
But the truth is going to come out. Did they do something wrong that I'm protecting them? Or am I feared that this big person that's going to hurt them in some way, and I lie to protect them in that way? Wouldn't it be better? And this is a suggestion. I'm not saying we should do this, but wouldn't it be better to say, I'm not going to lie, but I'm not going to let you hurt my family either.
Yeah, but Mark, how about the example?
Perfect timing.
That Ruthie was talking about. The Gestapo comes to the house, and the people are hiding up in the attic, and they say, "Are there any Jews here, or whatever the circumstances are?" And he says, "No." He's lying, and and he couldn't say, no, but I mean, he couldn't say anything but a lie. That would be it.
So I have another way of looking at this, okay? And I'd like to share a personal story. I'm going to do it very quickly. It's a true story. I'm driving along the road, and I'm in ceremony with somebody. They called me up. I need to work on something, and I really need your help with it. And so I said, yes. So I'm driving, and as I'm driving along the road, I get off the main highway, I go into a secondary road, and I'm driving along the secondary road, and this person is so angry that they start attacking me. And I'm like, well, this is probably not going to go the way that you want it to, because you can't change this and this story. And somehow the anger gets inside of me. And I start to become annoyed. And I said, you know what? I'm now incapable of helping you at this point. I have to step out of this ceremony. Please let me regroup. Let me collect my thoughts, and I will connect with you in a couple of hours. And the speed limit is 80 kilometers, 50 miles an hour along this road. And I'm thinking about what's happening. And I'm driving a car, so I'm conscious of it. And I look up ahead, and I see the front of a car sticking out of the bushes that is white. And it moves up a little bit forward, and it lights up like a Christmas tree. And I'm thinking, it's not Christmas. It must be the police. So I take my foot off the gas, and I decide, well, I'm just going to pull over. And believe me, I got there quickly. I pull over, right in front of the police officer. The police officer gets out, and I know what's happening. I know I was speeding. I was so angry. And when I looked, I was going very fast. And so I pull out my wallet, and I'm pulling out my insurance, my license, and the cop walks up behind, sees my hands down. I lift them up to say, this is what I'm doing. And the police officer walks up and says, bit of a hurry, aren't you? And I said, not intentionally. And he said, what's going on? And I pointed, and there's my phone with my headset on it and everything. I said, I had a very disturbing phone call, and I was distracted. I was distracted from what I was doing. And he said, oh. He said, was it of a personal nature? I said, it became a personal nature one, and it distracted me. He said, how fast were you going? I said, well, I know I was speeding. As soon as I saw your car light up, I put the brakes on, so I don't know. He said, you were doing 130 kilometers an hour.
Oh.
And I said, And he said, yeah. And he said, but that's not it. And he pointed, and I look, and the building I'm looking at is a school.
Oh.
And I went, and he said, so that must have been really distracting to have you so unaware. And I said, I apologize. You're absolutely right. I said, you know, you're going to look at my license. You're going to see that I have pretty much, I'm a 5-star rated driver. I have, you know, I'm usually incredibly conscious, but this time, obviously, I was not. And he said, I see. You got the message now, though. I said, oh, yeah, I've got the message now. And he said, you're conscious of the car now. You're conscious of what you're doing. And I said, absolutely, I am. And he said, I feel no reason to ruin your perfectly good driving record or to waste the court's time. I think you've got the message. Please drive safely and have a good day. And he turned and walked away. I didn't try to convince him. I didn't try and talk him out of a ticket. I stood completely vulnerable and honest. I didn't defend my position. I didn't, you know, try to make up stories, put the blame on somebody else. I took full responsibility. And I did that consciously because as soon as the car lit up, I said to myself, you're in the wrong here. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, in all of that story, I honor this policeman every time I do it. This is a person whose job it is to establish truth. This is a person whose job it is to maintain the rules of the land, of where he's at. This is what our group of people feel is valuable. You got the message. I can see that you got the message. The fine, the points, everything else is to say, hey, wake up. You did something wrong. But I took full responsibility in the beginning and did not lie. And he said, you got the message, you got the point. I can tell by your body language you're telling the truth. I can tell by the body language that you're not happy about what you did. And I can tell by your body language that you're in remorse. You got the message. Why would I need to pursue this any further? So coming back to
The Gestapo.
the Gestapo coming in.
He's doing his job.
If I am lying to somebody who is trained to understand lies, whatever, well, they are. The Gestapo were trained at breaking down lies. I am giving him exactly what he wants. Why don't I just sit in my truth and ask him, why is he here? Why are you here? Because we've had stories. Interesting. Would you mind telling me who the stories are from? You're saying no, but
Yeah, I'm not finding it.
but that's what the people that hit the Jews did.
I get the underlying that we're human in nature and all of that, and circumstances change things. So I understand what you say, and if it were that, it would be wonderful, but it's not.
Well, I didn't say this was perfect, which is why I brought out the coffee cup.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
Absolutely. That's my point.
But it really does come back to the intention. So whether we're talking about it being, you know, doing something for the benefit of somebody else or something, but if there's a way that I can tell the truth every single time and telling the truth, aren't I better off just to tell the truth than to maintain a lie, a constant lie? Yeah.
I think that this way of thinking kind of presupposes that the person on the other side is going to be a rational individual. And so when you think, okay, these people who are coming or grouped together people as being irrational and having these violent or negative thoughts and behaviors, then it's that's when you lead yourself into that. But probably because in that situation you didn't go in with this mentality of like all cops are like rude and inconsiderate or whatever, and you were pretty open to it, then that allowed you to receive like a less rigid version of that person, even if it's with someone else, maybe he wouldn't have been that way.
Nice segue.
But that's our world.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's still sure.
These days. That's our world. That's what we're confronted with. So I'm really, really interested in the truth and how we navigate
In reality.
today.
Not in
Because we do have
conceptual
those
sense.
irrational challenges.
Mhm.
more irrational than not, I think.
Right?
Why you feel that way?
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
protecting ourselves being here.
Would it have mattered like the reaction of the policeman? Because I think it did. It did not, right? Like you were ready to face the consequences no matter what, right? So
Right.
like the outcome is kind of like relative, right? Like you make your peace with it no matter how. That's how I perceive the story, at least.
Sounds good to me.
You know, I mean, it's kind of nice that it turned out to be good, but like it's
I still
like
pay the
eventually-
price, whether
Frequently
I.
doesn't.
You know,
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't.
you know.
Sometimes it doesn't. But please, I'm leaving it a little bit open here. I've given out a lot of rope and a lot of things, and I can see that people are thinking. And thank you, Sharon, for your observations. And again, this is what truth does. It brings up something and says, "But what about?" And so we get to the core of what a truth really is. And the funny thing is what we're talking about today is truth, but what we're really talking about is not lying. Which is why in the very beginning you had the sensations, this visceral sensation between the two. This is what this feels like, and this is what this feels like. And I don't like this one so much. So what can I do to do this? Where can I let go of tension, noticing my face or my breath, or listening to the sound of my voice as it's coming out, listening to the words that I choose as I'm talking, finding a center point, noticing my thoughts where they're gentle and
I
compassionate.
think from Sharon's point of view, if the truth is love and morality, then you haven't told a lie.
How can a lie be moral?
It's in that conversation.
She said if it is.
Yeah. No, I'm just asking because I don't.
Well, if the other side, if the
Because
person coming in
story.
and wants to kill those people, that's not moral to kill.
Mhm.
And so you're on the side of non-killing.
I like that.
Mhm.
So that's the moral,
That's right. That's
the moral side.
and
I
ethical.
think that's what.
Can I add
Yeah,
one
please.
other
Please.
complexity? Telling the truth has something also to do being productive with it. It has something to do with timing. If you have a truth to tell and you're talking with someone who's not ready to hear the truth,
Mhm.
then in your perception, what I do with that is I resist telling the truth at that moment. I know the truth,
Mhm.
and yet I resist. I read the other person, and therefore I'm not lying about it, but I'm choosing my timing about it. So that creates a whole nother complexity
Absolutely.
to this.
Absolutely. And I like the way you phrased that. Thanks. Yeah. Do we have to say something? And Jeff's point's well taken. I may not share the truth, but I may not have to tell it either. I'll rather not say anything at this time.
The difficulty with that is you can hide behind what I just said and never speak the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the danger. I'm from the
He's right.
upper Midwest in the United States,
You're
and
right.
it's a lot of partial truths and a lot of unspoken untruths.
Yeah.
And so it's such a balance
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of equanimity to this about efficiency, and also then not hiding behind it, because there is a time where it is right and efficient to tell the truth, even if it's difficult.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's still true though for the young people that are growing up in the States. I'm sorry, do you think that it's still that way for the kids that are growing up this day and age?
Still the same way about what?
Us, the thoughts of just being quiet and listening to somebody instead of being argumentative or giving your opinion.
I think it's, I don't know if it's better or worse, but it certainly feels different.
It does feel different.
And the difference that I see that you're bringing up, I'm astounded at what people can put using their fingers out there.
Sure.
Typing a message seems to be very easy to be I don't even know how to begin some of the things that people will say to somebody else that they don't even know. Versus if you're face to face with someone, it's a lot harder to have that type of a situation. And what that social media has brought is just
It's even more,
Kind of
there's
explosive.
another level of complexity.
yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
And the other thing too is with that, if I forward something, I read something on one of the social medias and I go, yeah, and I repost it. And then I find out that what I went yeah to is absolutely complete untruth. Nothing in the realm of truth. And now I go, I just forward this to everybody else. What's this say about me? You know, and the point that we talked about last week is, do I have to go and check everything before posting? And the short answer is yes, you do.
You know what I do? I send it to my kids and say,
But you're still checking.
I've gotten caught, and they're wonderful about saying, no, Mom, don't.
But you're still checking to ensure.
Absolutely.
But it still goes back to this idea of validity and whether, I mean, when people are posting about something, it's the idea of the cup where we're all looking at it from different angles. But also in that we almost don't understand what truth is in the digital world, because you have these like fact checkers that come in and say, oh, this is true. And then it's like, well, is the fact checker true saying this is true? And then I'm,
But how do you feel when you're reading this stuff? Does it feel like the truth to you or not?
I mean, I guess it depends, and it comes from like my own experience, so I know that it's
Which is what we're talking about, the cup.
Yeah.
And what you tell me about what you see in that cup, you're talking about all of your own personal experiences that you're bringing forward.
Yeah. So more about whether it feels true than whether you check it online and see if somebody else says it's true or not.
Yeah, you do the best that you can, really, no matter what you're doing.
We're assessing based on that innate assumption that it's true, and we react until we want to do something. So our intention is all well and good, but is the premise accurate?
Mm-hmm. And again, we're basing this conversation on somebody ran into this room, did something, and ran back out, and there were, I'm guessing, 24 people in here that saw it, went out and told other people about it, and those other people are having a conversation and deciding what is true and false based on our perception of what we saw.
And the telephone game of it changing as it goes.
All right.
Exactly. Broken telephone.
Yeah.
We're in the ear.
So there is an out. There is one absolutely knowable truth that helps us discern between the lying and the truth. It's one word, and everybody knows it intimately on one level. And the word is love. Love. If I'm going to defend the people that are hiding in the attic or in the basement, I'm doing it out of a place of love, because I know what I'm confronting isn't necessarily the best. Certainly not for them. If it's a family member, Fabi, that I'm trying to protect, and I'm doing it out of love. I'm doing it because this is somebody that is dear to me. I can lie and do it consciously, and perhaps it's not going to derail me. I'm not going to be living these two different paths, because the source that it's coming from is love. Okay, which comes right back to the very beginning when Ruthie said it's about the intention. What is my intention here? What is the purpose of my lie? I personally have lied for the benefit of somebody else. And I did it knowingly, I did it consciously, and I actually kind of feel good about it. I don't know if I do it today, but back then it was the right call. Okay, fair enough. Well, the Buddha, fortunately, wherever we go, the Buddha will always leave all roads lead to Rome, 28,000 paths to enlightenment. The Buddha has four. Sorry?
I said it always comes back to what you just said.
Yeah.
Always comes back to love.
The Buddha has four elements that must exist in true love. And the first one, I'll see if I made a note here that was really, we'll do it this way. The first element is loving kindness. If we do everything from a place of loving kindness, whether we're standing in front of a formidable foe or somebody asking us, did you do that? It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. That part is actually irrelevant. Can I do this with loving kindness? Officer, I was speeding. I know that. I didn't say I was speeding. I said I was distracted. I was distracted.
Is that the person in Tiananmen Square with a flower with a tank?
Yeah.
Kindness to the big foe.
That's the truth.
Yeah, it's the truth. And powerful statement. Didn't have to say anything else. Good example, Lisa. Thank you. The second element of love is compassion. This formidable force that's in front of me that has me scared for my life, can I have compassion for it? Maybe no. Maybe not. And that would be understandable. So I'm going to have compassion for myself in this particular case. This is beyond my breadth of experience from my life to be able to manage this situation that I feel will be masterful. So I'm going to have compassion for myself to do the very best that I can. But I may find, if I live long enough, compassion for that formidable force, because I recognize that it was acting on a lie, acting on fear, acting on something, and maybe my compassion will find peace in it. The other thing is, if we have this love, which Lisa lovingly showed us at the very beginning, we're going to have joy. That is the way. If I'm not feeling joy in this, if I'm not getting joy out of it, then I'm probably off the path somewhere. Something is off the path. I'm getting a little bit more resistant to that one, but that's okay. The fourth is inclusiveness. If I can be inclusive in all of this, time permitting, as Jeff said, time permitting, the truth is going to be spoken. It has to be spoken. It's going to be spoken. And it will be spoken. Even amongst the sea of confusion that is out there, of people trying to understand, because they weren't standing in this room when that thing happened. We were. They're trying to make sense of it, trying to establish what is true and all of these opinions and everything that's going on. But if we can be inclusive, which is what I said from the very beginning, if we can all look at that teacup and agree that it is a cup, it's just a cup. And your perspective of that cup is different than my perspective of the cup. And in this conversation, that truth that it's a cup, if we can talk about that collectively as a group, my perception of that truth grows exponentially. That's what I would rather do. And I think this is what the Dharma is talking about. If we're not able to find that joy inside of us, how can we share it or find it in the world around us? If I don't know what joy looks like, I am not going to see it in the outside world. If I can't be inclusive from different points of view or different ideas or different perspectives, then I miss out on a great understanding that could come available, that enlightenment that the Buddha talks about that we're walking to. And if I'm not able to feel joy in any of this, what's the point? Why bother? Including the difficult situations, including those times where you sit back and say, it's probably not the most ethical or moral choice, what I'm doing right now. but I'm doing it because I believe it's something that is true to me, something that I can be a part of. And I know that whatever I'm going to say, the truth is going to come out and I'm going to be shown for what I say. So I'm going to choose my words very carefully as I redirect or do something different. Which leads us back to the main four, which we always come back to time and time again. Suffering, the truth about suffering, the cessation of suffering, and how to maintain that equanimity or that balance within us in a world that is very confusing. And then we have the eightfold path. If you doubt or if you're uncertain, these aren't dogma. This isn't telling you what to do. It's saying, hey, by the way, here's something that can help you along the way. Right speech, livelihood, action, mindfulness, intention. Remember the intention, effort, vision, and speech. Just so you know. And so you just go through this life doing the best that you can with those things, realizing that there's these sways and turns and ups and downs and back and forth to the point where you finally go, I don't know. And then as Ruthie shares with us quite regularly, you come back to the cushion, you sit down and you go, I'm confused. I'm going to sit here until the confusion ebbs to a point that I can start to make sense of it. Because when I do, I'm going to know what the truth is for me. What my version of that truth is, and I'm going to share it in a way that is inclusive, that is joy-filled and supportive to the best of my ability. Great. Yeah. How are we doing for time here?
I don't know, but it's a great talk.
It's 11 o'clock on the nose.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but that was a wonderful talk.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Very good.
So now that we're in this aha moment or whatever, Ruthie's going to lead us through metta,
Some loving kindness.
some loving kindness to just find that center again.
Hey, Mark, I just want to say that when you wrapped it up with the love, it made me exhale. You know, really it did, because
Yeah.
it's like, of course, that's the gist of the whole matter, you know? If
Yeah.
you're going to send off that forward or whatever, is it out of love really, or is it out of that?
Yeah.
You know, or whatever it is that you're doing, is it out of love?
Thank you. And thank you for, I deliberately walked you in, I consciously walked you into an uncomfortable place. I consciously did it because sometimes it's easy to sit and talk about ideas and concepts and we can mentally talk it through and everything. But when you are viscerally having an experience where you feel that anxiousness, that uncertainty, that doubt, and you bring up those fears, worries, and concerns, we have the ability to actually talk about it. And fortunately, as the person leading you today, I knew where it was going, so I could just sort of steer it a little bit back into this final bit where really that love is the answer. We just start from there, which the Buddha talks about constantly. Atheists believe in truth, they believe in love, they may not necessarily believe in God, but that truth and that love of those, if we have love, we find the truth every single time. So.
Again, thank you.
You're welcome.
Loving kindness, the first of the four Brahma Viharas. After loving kindness, these are the places we live. As Buddhists, they're called the sublime abodes. And they are loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. Okay, now loving kindness is unconditional friendliness. It extends without conditions. And we can develop it, actually develop it within ourselves with any number of ways of presenting it. We do it one way here. And what I'm going to do for those of you who are newcomers is I'm going to ask you to think of someone and then close your eyes and envision them And I'm going to say a phrase for each person. I'm going to say 4 phrases. And you repeat them silently yourself to that person. Okay? All right. Well, we begin from within. We begin from within. And to ourselves, bringing ourselves to mind as with a reflection in a mirror, we say to ourselves, may I be well. May no harm come to me. May I live with ease, that's equanimity. May I live with ease, calm, and peaceful. May I be happy. Take a deep breath or so and bring to mind now someone you love very, very much. Love with all your heart. Look at them, smile to them, say their name, and say, may you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm and peaceful. May you be happy. And now we smile again. We turn our attention to a neutral person. This may be someone who waits on you or someone who lives in your neighborhood that you see on the road and you wave, but you don't even know their name. If you don't know his or her name, address them as friend. Dear friend, may you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm and peaceful. May you be happy. And now we smile goodbye to them for now. Take a deep breath and bring to mind someone with whom you are in conflict. They may not like you, you may not like them. It could be a very old grudge. It could be something that happened earlier today. It doesn't matter. It's just someone with whom there is a grating. Let go of the malice, and as if you had never met them before, look directly at them, say their name, and say, may you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm, and peaceful. May you be happy. Excuse me. And now, take another deep breath. Release your hands, put them over your heart. And we now expand to the farthest outside of the circle of sentient beings. 8 billion of us on this planet alone. Who knows how many are out there? And this is where we talk about brotherhood, sisterhood, humanity. And looking at all of this, which we really can't see, we can feel it. We say, may all beings everywhere, on this plane and all other planes, be well. May all beings everywhere be safe. May all beings everywhere be free from suffering. May all beings everywhere be happy. And now you feel the breeze. You feel this place as a refuge. We feel love that's in our heart, our mind, our intestines, everywhere. And we sit with that. And we let it sink in. And then when we're ready, we release our hands, we open our eyes, we smile at our neighbors. Hello everybody out there. And now we're going to say our final words. This comes from the Unitarian Church. And they go, we somehow changed it. It used to be just saying it, and then now we say it together. Since we have new people, I'll say the phrase. We're all going to say it together, and then we're done. Okay. Go in peace.
Go in peace.
Go making peace.
Go making peace.
Living gently.
Living gently.
Loving mightily.
Loving mightily.
And bowing to the mysteries.
Bowing to the mysteries.
Thank you all for being here and being such a great group.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
There you go. That was just such a great talk. Yeah.
And Lisa.
Lisa for the magic trick.
And Lisa
Yeah.
Yes, I'll
is a magic trick.